What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? What's up?
So, the episode's out now. What'd you think?
Speechless, dude. It was so good. It was the best. It was my favorite one out of all of them.
It
was my favorite one out of all of them.
Did it beat? So it's your favorite one. So it easily beats the episode 1 of season 1, then where you just get everything all at once.
Beats season 1. It's tied with, like, if there's one episode I tied in with, it would be episode 8 of season 1. Both are like my top tier, for sure.
And then
not even close.
And then you add the 52 minutes onto it, and it just makes everything so much better.
54 minutes for the first episode. It's the longest out of anyone. That's longer than episode 8 was, which was 48 minutes.
That's crazy. It's almost like we get 8, so it's 8 episodes per season, 8 movies just back to back every week. I wish I get the concept of a movie, but this is almost the way to go now with content, because you can get it real time at home. If you're talking about the coronavirus, I mean, now you can stay home, watch it, and it's so much content, and you just rewatch it too. So
yeah.
So the intro, let's see, what is he starts out walking.
Okay, first of all, the soundtrack. I don't know who does the soundtrack. Well, if it's the same musician from season 1, the soundtrack in the beginning scene was absolutely like amazing. They got like basically the Mandalorian theme song, and they added like a little bit of a touch to it. It was beautiful. I already knew, like, when he started walking into the arena, that it already was like, and we saw that right away in the trailer. We saw that was one of the scenes we saw in the trailer. So like seeing that as like the first opening scene was pretty cool. I won't lie.
Did you notice the red eyes as he's walking into the nightclub, or did you notice them when he was walking out? You know, those red eyes, the red eyes of the hounds.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that until he walked out and he snapped off the light, and then
he's like, I didn't lie to you, and then he shoots out the light. I noticed it on the second. Those are the little things that you can watch on your rewatch. When he's walking, there's just red eyes everywhere. Anywhere there's darkness, there's red eyes. It's almost like some Halloween vibe-ish type stuff, man.
How many times did you watch the episode?
3. I watched it pretty much with you guys on the screen share on Discord, and then I watched it when I got home, and then I watched it again when I woke up. So and I'll probably watch it again tonight too. So
watching it like as soon as it released was really special, and they did a really good job, because like I remember in the last season there was like sometimes it wouldn't come out till like 3:40 in the morning. It would be really delayed. It was 3 on the dot for Eastern time, 12 a.m. Pacific time, so it was like on the dot. So that was really good. But overall, the excitement for it was like, it definitely exceeded like the expectations.
The Gamorrean guards. So someone made the comment, the Gamorrean guards, the guys look different. So there's in some deep lore, there's Gamorrean executioners, like the ones you see at Jabba's palace. I'm pretty sure those are just well-fed ones, because Jabba's a rich guy, but most Gamorreans are like shredded, and they're like literally enforcers. Like if you walk up on, like, they're normally like side by side of a henchman, they're henchmen, and they walk up and they're very muscular. They can go toe to toe with a Wookiee. So seeing them fight, that's pretty awesome. Those are what Gamorreans are. They should be.
I have to look back like on the exact details of them. But that's just like little things like what we talked about last time, like the differences between like, like just like how we talked about the stormtroopers. Now you see the differences between like other figures and stuff like that you saw within the films, within the original trilogy, and now you can look back on it. I did have a question though before we like get into the actual segment of the episode about the giveaway. Wheel. So
real quick, anyone that's watching right now, we had a giveaway in episode 1. We have the names all down for everyone that participated in that, and we're going to go ahead and just knock that out right now.
And this is for an Ahsoka Tano Season 7 Black Series figure from the Siege of Mandalore. So these are the names right here. So I will spin this.
Don't get dizzy now.
Just like today. No way. 2 bags. Sick. Awesome.
There we go.
I will be messaging him, telling him that he won. That's awesome.
Cool. And then since we are on the topic of Dubex, guys, we obviously want you here as much as possible, but if you have a little bit of spare change in your wallet, Dubex is doing a charity stream right now, and we're going to check that out just for a brief second. He's on hour 23, 5 minutes and 44 seconds. Man is on his last fume, so let's make sure we give him a shout out. There he is right there. Check out that beautiful face. So make sure, guys, that you just give him all the support that you can. He's trying really hard out there. And it's been a successful stream. Because since I worked third shift, I was there from 11 to 6 in the morning, and same energy. He never once just acted like he was tired. So make sure you guys give him a shout out. And then one more.
It's for the right cause as well.
Yeah, for the right cause. I don't see it on here. It's definitely something about cancer research. So make sure we show them the support. And then real quick, before we get back to the Star Wars talk, it's Kylo Marx's birthday. So make sure you guys give him a shout out. A powerful member of the Battlefront 2 community. And there he is playing Captain Phasma. And guys, it's Halloween. My dog is going to be barking at trick-or-treaters. So let's do you have anything to add to that?
No, I say on that note, let's just start diving into the episode where we left off from the beginning and just go from there. Okay, first of all, so like when we talk about like the beginning and stuff like that, that, like I said, that scene was really unique. I really loved the way it opened. I thought it was like one of the funniest parts, like in the trailer, seeing when Baby Yoda like when Baby Yoda like closes the crib as he's like ready to be attacked, as he is getting ready to the whistling birds. Yeah. He's ready to use a whistling bird, so that was really cool. And then obviously on his way out, he's like, "Oh, there's another Mandalorian on Tatooine." As soon as he said Tatooine, I already knew it was Boba. That's the first thing that I like popped in my head right away. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. With all the rumors, with all the speculations, it just added up.
Instant, yeah.
Now, yeah, go ahead.
With Baby Yoda, it's safe to we already know like he's a Force user, so I would assume most of those creatures that we still don't know the name of, Yoda's species, is Force wielding, and they're obviously all intelligent because we still don't know the time gap, but he's quickly learning. Okay, Dad's using those whistlers, shutting the doors on these the crib. Yeah. So he's learning quick, and it's going to be really interesting to see if he says one word this season, and I wonder what word is he going to say.
Well, he's 50, but he obviously that speech is definitely ages differently. That would be actually really interesting. I never even thought about that, like him saying a word.
He's got to say one. It's got to be one word, but what is this? Dad?
Yeah. What I did think about though, and this is something that I'm really trying to still think about, what the time gap was between season 1 and season 2. I don't know if it's right away. I'm assuming it might be, but then again, when he reacts like that, you have to pay attention to these little details. When he reacts like that, it's like, okay, maybe they spent like a good amount of time in between. Because I don't think it's not announced anywhere about like how much time. And then when you and I talked about it with Grief Cargo, you see his facial hair turn white. So I'm feeling like, there might have been some time and difference in between the 2 episodes.
They normally do like they found a way to do it off screen, like with a poster, or like when he returned to. I thought they were going to do it when he returned to the port, Mos Eisley or whatever. And he talked to that the female, I forget her name, but the mechanic. When he arrived, I thought she was going to say, "Hey, it's been 6 months since I've seen you last," but she didn't say anything like that. I thought that would have been an easy way to be like, "Okay, 6 months since last season," But that's normally. So I'm thinking when they go meet with Grief Karga, he'll be like, "Man, it's been 2 moons since I've seen you," and that's how they're.
I just want to know, because that was something in the sequel trilogy, for example, that I remember. I was thinking, I'm like, okay, episode 8 was right after episode 7, but episode 9 had a little time difference between 8 and 9, and that was just something you put the pieces together, and then you got Galaxy's Edge, so you can obviously know like what everything was on the timeline. So that's just a small detail that I would like to know that I'm sure we'll find out maybe even next episode. But yeah, moving on into that, then
I got one more question. So, do you think, with how brutal Mandalorian Din Djarin is, will Baby Yoda pick up on that? How brutal he is, and then like, will he know right from wrong?
The thing is, it was I mean, it's like if you're like a child, you're obviously going to become like you're grown up. Yeah. So I feel like he would catch on to that. But like, it was really brutal. Like, because like obviously like you and I have been watching like a lot of like, there's obviously the latest Star Wars content we got was season 7 with the Clone Wars. You saw Ahsoka being very sweet to the clones, didn't want to kill any of them. Now you're back into this hardcore action with Mando, and then you see him, this guy, this creature with the one eye, he left them for no shame. He just let him die with the wolves with the red eyes.
Yeah.
Not even a hesitation. He just shot that light off right away and he went after them. So he is definitely brutal. So that's really interesting to see. And like obviously, like I always say this, but like the Mandalorian is literally just it's a wild, wild west in space. It's literally a wild, wild west. And I think this episode out of any really emphasized that. And that's what we're gonna get into next, was when he went to Tatooine.
It's so much different than what we expect for Star Wars movies in general, that I think that's why I love it even more, because it's still Star Wars, but it's definitely a new vibe going on anytime you watch it. And then, like you said, with the soundtrack, it oozes like those 40, 50 westerns, those black and white westerns, when he's just walking and all you see is the boot. So we get on Tatooine.
West in space. That's literally it. Yeah.
So we get on Tatooine. We get the character, which I can't remember her name at all. But there's a few Easter eggs in there. We see the pit droids, and then we see R5, which she doesn't say the last part of R5, but it's safe to assume that it's the R5 droid that blows up in A New Hope with the bad motivator.
Yep. I saw that right away, and I'm like, I thought for a second, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I don't want to like jump to anything, but like that has to be the R5 that we know.
Yeah. When I did the rewatch, I just paused it, and there, right where the motivator blows up on A New Hope, there's like some burn scars on his hood or whatever you want to call that, of the droid. So it's safe to assume that is R5. And then she says he's old, and then before the war. So he's a droid before the war. So there's a lot of little tidbits in that it has
to just pay attention to. Yeah.
Do you like her character? I mean, she's a small side character.
I didn't like, for some reason, I didn't really like her. I didn't like, wasn't like a fan favorite of her in season 1. But when I saw her again now, I was like relieved in a way. I'm like, oh my God, like that's like a season 1 character. Okay, I feel like more homey. It felt like more homey. Like that. I don't know. Like that was like really cool to see her. And like I kind of liked her towards the end. But I didn't like how overprotective she was, and like with the pit droids. And I just didn't. I wasn't a fan favorite of her in season 1. But like it aged well on me. And seeing like a familiar face from season 1 was pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't even know she was going to appear.
She reminds me of an Ellen Ripley type character from Alien.
Yeah,
I get those vibes from her. So she gives him the location of this new village that isn't on the map, and then she gives him that junky speeder, and then he just heads out. What did you from there? We just had They just give it to us, right? They just like punch us in the face with this armor. So what do you think of that?
I think the beginning of the episode, like the first, I want to say 15 minutes within the first scene, entering Tatooine, all that stuff. I think it was very fast paced. Everything was happening very fast, and then that's when like once they started heading toward, and we'll get into that in a minute. Once they headed towards the dragon and stuff like that, that's when it was like a little more slow paced for a while until the end. They boosted it right back up. But when he was on his way to Mos Pargo, again, just you get the season 1 feel. You see the Tusken Raiders from the distance on the Banthas, and then he gets there, and you know what I'm realizing in episode 1, you see like, I think it was because it was like so much positive feedback, and they saw what an impact it had with the reactions of the child. Yeah. But there was so many already in episode 1, so many little tiny reactions from him that they already put, like little, just like cute little faces, just like reactions. So obviously when he's in there, he's like the little pouch, and he starts to make some funny faces, and you get the season 1 feel when he walks into the cantina. He leaves him behind, and then mentally, I'm like in my head, I'm like, did he just leave him behind again? After everything that happened in season 1, he's leaving him behind again. And then of course you see like the child pop his head in, like when the cantina is like, yeah, you're not leaving me alone this time.
He's just slowly like always following, ever watchful.
Exactly. Yeah. So like that's like it's they took season 1 and they just like pushed it even more with the Baby Yoda, and I love it. I'm here for it. Like it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And then with it being episode 1, I think they did a good job of focusing on the title of the show, The Mandalorian. They focused right on him. I would expect, now that they got that out of the way, then we're going to start seeing a whole episode dedicated kind of towards Baby Yoda, and then of course Moff Gideon and stuff. So I really like how they didn't get away from what the show is, The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
this was exactly what we got.
And that was my fear. I was like, look, I don't care who's in the episodes. I would love to see Ahsoka. I'd love to see Bo. I'd love to see Boba.
Yeah,
Please keep it. Make sure this stays his own thing. Make sure it's still separate from the Star Wars universe because that's what makes it special. And season 1 did that. I really think. I mean, episode 1.
right. So then he looks to the door, sees a silhouette of what we know of Bubba's armor, but it's called Vamp. So what did you think of the little? Did you think he was about to just shoot him right there, like a straight up duel, or did you even expect something to happen?
No, I saw him walk in, and I already knew. Like, first of all, when I saw the armor, I didn't think. I didn't think. I heard the rumors that there was someone, and again, these are in I believe the books and the comics that I haven't dove into yet with him, with it's obviously explained in this episode how he retrieved the armor, but it goes into more depth there. So I wasn't really aware of the backstory within this, but right away when I saw him, I already knew it wasn't Boba. I saw it by the way he was standing. He was very more skinnier, less broad, like than what Boba, Jango, and all the clones were. And especially at that age as well. So I already knew it wasn't Boba. I didn't expect them to duel or anything like that. But it was a surprise to see his armor like 15 minutes into the episode, right away. I
talked to Dark Majora after the episode, and he's like, that armor looks really small on him. Or during the episode, he was still watching. He was watching it late. He said that armor looks really small on him. Is that Bubba? And I was like, man, just watch the episode. But when I thought he was just going to wipe him out right there in a gunslinger Wild Wild West duel, because in the original trailer that came out months ago, which is now proven to be right, when Mando's driving away in a speeder on Tatooine, there's green armor on the back, and someone clipped that, zoomed in, and said, "Hey, that's Bubba's armor." And of course, I was like looking at it, like, "Wow, that is Bubba's armor," and it just proved it. So I thought, "Wow, he's about to just wipe him out." I thought he was gonna kill him, but so they team up, but right before that though, the ground shakes, and we get
they have a little altercation, but I think that ground shaking was like, okay, this is our treaty right here. Like, let's work together. Let's not be idiots here. Let's work together on this.
It shows every episode is a Din Djarin. He has his main mission, and then he has the little side missions. Like, it's almost like a video game. But all of his side missions are for the greater good. He kills people brutally, but if somebody needs help, he helps. That town needed help, and he's like, he could have easily killed Cobb and just took the armor.
Absolutely. So we know that. And with Mando, he does take aggressive approaches towards things, obviously, as we've seen. But it's really interesting that you say that. And I realized that as soon as the episode finished, I'm like, God, that was like, that's exactly the same feel as season 1, and I see what they're doing here. It's like every season he has a common goal. This is his goal right now. His goal right now that we have to look at is, I want to find other Mandalorians to find out where to take this kid, where to bring him, find these enemy sorcerers, whatever. So he's going on these missions. He's developing more relationships with others all across the galaxy. And you're seeing how these relationships pay off. He comes to Tatooine. He's been on Tatooine before. He's been to the caretaker. He has a place to leave his ship. If he needed someone to watch over the child, he has a person to watch over the child, and he's developing these relationships. And I know it's a small detail, but these things add up towards the end with more allies. A simple bounty hunter. He starts off as a bounty hunter of a guild, now developing relations all across the galaxy and different planets.
Exactly, man. And it's going to be, no one can say in this that there's not character development. Like he's bounty hunter now. He's a baby Yoda dad, and he's just helping people. He's completely done a 180. So if you want to talk about the hero's journey, this is it.
Yeah. And character development is huge, because a character like this, you don't really see facial expressions, So those little things when he tilts his head, or in episode 8 of season 1 when he's experiences sadness when he thought he was going to lose who was it? He was going to lose someone. I can't think of it at the top of my head, but you see these facial expressions, and it's interesting to see his character development grow.
So so now they're teamed up, Cobb Vanth and the Mando. They get on their speeders. Mm-hmm. Did you notice what the Cobb was riding on?
Part of Anakin's pod racer.
It's pretty close to say that is. I try to look at the pictures. The only thing that's missing is, which it's it's definitely broken and stuff now. It's just missing one fender on the top front, so it has to just painted differently.
I didn't notice that at first until someone pointed it out in the watch party, and then after I looked into it, and I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's crazy.
Yeah, that when I've watched it the first time, I was like, oh, it's just a speeder. I'm sitting there just trying to soak everything in. So I definitely was the first view through.
Because again, you don't want to overthink these things, but like it's like right in front of your face.
Yeah, which we know it's Star Wars, but what are Han Solo would say, never tell me the odds, but what are the odds that Cobb Vanth has Boba Fett's armor on and racing on Darth Vader's old pod racer? Like,
I know.
Some of the historic characters, and he thinks he's a nobody in the story of Star Wars.
Yeah,
but yet he's literally holding ancient relics. And
Tatooine is one of the most iconic planets in the films, so I mean there's a lot of history behind it. Obviously we don't even see this town that he's in, but the whole planet itself has a lot of history. It's in the Clone Wars, it's in the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, even the sequel trilogy, so it's cool to see that.
It's full of sand. We hate sand.
It's rough. It gets everywhere.
And they get to the canyon and they run into those hounds, man. I wish I know the names. I just can't.
So ugly. I hated them.
Those are the same one. Anakin slaughters a few of them when he slaughters that one Tusken tribe. So there's a few there. And I thought we were about to get a face off, but old Mando knows those tricks, and he speaks roaring and sign language, and he gets the help of Tusken Raiders. When I see a Tusken, I think that's one of the better designs from the original trilogy. I love their design, man. You could tell that they have a rich history on that planet, and they just know how to live off the land. I love the Tusken Raiders so much.
You know, it's interesting. In season 1, they added a little bit of character to the Tusken Raiders when Mando was communicating to go through the passageway, and heading towards when the last time he was on Tatooine. And, in the Attack of the Clones, you see them as beast. In the original trilogy, you see them as beasts. You see them as ruthless characters. You don't really like, I hate Tusken Raiders. But, now you see them as, you're giving them character. Small little details from the original trilogy and other Star Wars films. You're getting characters from these, right. And it applies to the Mandalorian as well. You see the Mandalorian in the prequel, in the original trilogy and stuff like that. You never knew what a Mandalorian is. Now you're getting character development on them and the history behind it, and it's really diving into the small little things that were in that we've seen and I thought nothing of it.
And when you add characters to Tusken Raiders, when you do a rewatch of the old movies, and then Anakin kills them, you're just gonna realize how much darker that scene was than it already is, because now you have an attachment to these people.
Yeah, and you realize that they're not bad. They're peaceful. It's just it depends on how you work with them and how you interact with them. And you see some just take aggressive approaches, and they don't mess with that. They don't correlate with that.
Just because they speak a different language or they're hard to communicate with, they just want to attack them. And then they, of course, just attack right back. They got to defend themselves. One of the quick little things that I see in there, did you notice that they're using the gaffy stick to clean the Bantha's teeth? It's a weapon, but it's a multi-tool. They're using it to clean. So they're highly intelligent too. They're not just I see, I kill.
Not just beast.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, exactly. They're not just beast. There's a thinking being behind that mask. So what happens? Cobb has a little scruffle with those Tusken Raiders, but Den was able to get them back right in line for them.
He takes aggressive approaches. And you saw that in episode 5, the last time he was on Tatooine with the other bounty hunter. He was trying to take an aggressive approach, and Mando was like, "No, relax. They're fine. Let me communicate with them." Yeah. When he gave them the binoculars or something like that as a trade-off, they were all peaceful. So it's interesting to see how yes, Mando does take aggressive approaches, but he also calms people down. He's a little bit of both. Tell me if we're gonna get into this, but when you just said Tatooine, and then you reminded me that we've been here before, and at the end of season 1 episode
So you talked about it last episode. The guy at the end of the episode, the only cliffhanger in the other season. You think
that
that's?
was? Yes.
Are we going to talk about that? You want to talk about that now, or you want to just?
No. I want to talk about that at the end because that's at the end, and I'm going to leave the best for the end.
It just clicked in my head.
I know. No, I was thinking about that since like.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Since like it ended last season, I thought literally as soon as I heard the rumors of who's going to be in this season, I already knew it was.
Okay, so we'll go back. So
yeah,
they lay out a plan to defeat the Crate Dragon. So there's not enough Tusken Raiders. So Din volunteers the village, and then they have a little disagreement about that at the village.
Yeah.
So someone said that Sam Witwer made a cameo.
No, I thought so as well. And Star Wars Theory tagged him in a post on Twitter, and he was like, "No, that wasn't me. I thought it was too. Oh my god, that would have been amazing. It would have been such a cool little Easter egg because he's made like small appearances without even like he was the no, it wasn't Matt Lancher was in the Mandalorian season 1, the voice of Anakin Skywalker in the Clone Wars. He was on the New Republic ship, so that would have been really cool just to get like another Clone Wars character voice actor, but it wasn't him. It was he already replied on Twitter saying it wasn't. I wish it was though.
And that I like how fast he addressed it too. He's like, nope, not me, because then that's just how you got to shut down those rumors really quick. So they get to the village, they plan, they get some bombs, some mines. I don't know what those are, like thermal, like a bunch of thermal. I don't know. And they start heading back to the Crate Dragon's lair, which isn't just a cave. It's a Sarlacc pit that the Crate Dragon ate, which is crazy. That's a pretty big meal. I thought that was really cool because then they just keep giving it to you more. Hey, Sarlacc pit, green armor.
Exactly. It was getting more and more closer to Boba. That's all I was thinking the entire. As soon as he walked into the door in the beginning, he's like, "Show me where the Mandalorian is, and I'll let you walk out of here alive." When Mando said it in the beginning, I was already thinking, okay, Mandalorian. First of all, I thought Bo-Katan. I don't know why. I didn't think they were going to bring. I didn't really think they were going to mention Boba yet. But then as soon as he said Tatooine, the entire time Boba was in the back of my head. I'm like, okay, we just saw the armor. We're on Tatooine. Now we're seeing Sarlacc pit, and it's like more and more is being added to what could be the rumors being true.
Yeah, it's just I love Star Wars because like once something's revealed, then you can just go back as far as you want to, and you can see clues adding up to it.
And then what happened after that?
So they just get right to the implementing their plan. So
set up a plan.
So the plan is a mission straight out of Knights of the Old Republic. They just literally went into the game, ripped it out, and they just took 90% of it, and then they used it, which is it's not. I wouldn't say plagiarism at all. Like they gave the fans what they wanted. Like most fans want to see Knights of the Republic missions back, and they gave it to us in live. They did it better. They go, here, you want this bad enough? We'll just do it in live action. So in Knights of the Republic, go ahead.
Yeah, it was so funny because I just want to say that because like last episode you were talking about, you're like, yeah, watch this season. It's going to tie into Old Republic, and I'm like, no way, really? You think? And then like the first episode, it's like, oh my god, it's already like that, and I'm like, that's crazy. You really called it out last episode before anything.
Yeah, so in Knights of the Republic, the mission's real simple. You're looking for the star map. You head to Tatooine. You do all the missions. You make peace with the Tusken Raiders, and then you find this hunter out in the Dune Sea. He's like, hey, need help. What do you need help with? That cave over there has a crate dragon, and we need to kill it. Well, that's the only place you haven't explored. You need the star map, so you just say, okay, it's probably in there. And then the hunter puts some frag mines down while you lure a bantha in, which breaks the peace treaty for the Tusken Raiders. And then you fight the Tusken Raiders. You, of course, win. And then the banthas get put right in front of the cave. Dragon comes out, but the dragon dies. It's a lot easier. It's a lot different in the show because we're not with just eating a crate dragon. I love the new design.
Can you highlight a message? Knights of the Old Republic Tuesday on a Friday live action style.
Yo, let's go. Couture Tuesday on a Friday.
Yeah, but that was special, and I know you're very like knowledgeable in that field, so that's why I'm like really excited for you to like experience that and feel that nostalgia because you literally grow up. You're talking about how you grow up with Knights of the Old Republic and like how that that's basically the theme of your channel. That's basically the theme of your community and your stream. So it's really cool to see this incorporated into new Star Wars content, and that was totally done on purpose. And that is all Dave Filoni. That is all Jon Favreau working their magic right there.
The both of them deserve a big hug by me if I ever meet them. So,
oh yeah,
just, I cannot ask, and it's only going to get better. They're not just going to end here. They're going to take. I guarantee you, anything that fans have wanted, they're going to start taking bits and pieces from. And it's not
Knights of
Academy.
So it's going to get way more into that. That was the same thing with. And again, this is just me because this is like my side of Star Wars. In season 7 with the Siege of Mandalore, you saw all the Rogue One references. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rogue One received so much positive feedback, and that has really become a strong suit of the fandom that they included so many Rogue One references in Episode 7. The Maulway scene, the Ahsoka touching Rex's head using the Force, little stuff like that. And now you're going to see that with Mando with others as well.
So they get there, and they have a pretty flawed plan, I think. So who gave the thumbs up for the Tusken Raider to shoot the harpoons into him and then try to hold him? Like, like they shoot it, and then they're not going to be able to hold this dragon.
Yeah.
What were they thinking there?
Well, I won't lie. What was really funny to me was when the dragon went after the Tusken Raider instead of the Bantha, and the Bantha was just chilling there, just sitting there.
Yeah.
I thought that was actually really funny. Because no one expected it. And
he was running so fast. Poor guy. Like he's like, this is it, man. I gotta go. And didn't make it.
That was actually really funny. And then a little later into the episode, the same thing happened again with 3 or 4 of them. And I'm like, yeah, this is anything how it was 10 minutes ago. They're done.
Yeah, because then they brought the 3 up, and then they all shout, and then they run away. The dragon's like, okay, I'm coming back out now. And then it begins. So they have a couple harpoons set up. They have a bantha loaded with detonators. And then everybody else is just kind of hanging back. Yeah, I thought the plan, they really did I'm not saying the writers did. I get what they were doing. Din really messed up because I imagine he gave the okay on everything. He really messed up with the harpoon trick. That felt miserably.
Nothing was working. And again, you know what I really admire about Mando? Again, this is just it's everyone that he teams up with is like a rookie compared to Mando. Mando's like the veteran to me. He's the vet. He kept saying, "Oh, I'm about to blast him. I'm going to do this detonator." And Mando's like, "Wait, hold on, patience." He's the veteran. He's the father here, and that's that father figure that he's getting from Baby Yoda. He's becoming the top dog now, and now he's able to use that. It's the role that he's playing in little things to big things. The only person I felt like that was higher than Mando when it came to things that he didn't feel like the top dog was when he, with the armor. The armor was mentoring him. It seemed like in episode 7 and 8. And it's just something interesting that I've caught on to.
Outside of Mando and the child, the armor is my favorite character in this series.
Me too. I love her character.
She's like the Grand Master of the Mandalorians right now.
Do we see her this season? I didn't see anything of her. I really hope we do see her because like I said, her character was stunning. And I don't know if you knew this. Again, it's just my side of Star Wars. The stunt actress for the armor in season 1 is the same stunt actress that did the stunts for Ahsoka with the mocap in the Siege of Mandalore, in the duel with Maul. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, she's. I read about her a few months ago. She's really good. And then, they did the mocap. That's awesome how they use that in anime. It's not just somebody drawing a cartoon anymore.
That's how they did with Ian. Cameron, the actor of
Palps.
No. Cal Kestis. Maul. Cameron. Yeah, they did mocap with him as well, obviously for video games and stuff like that. Monahan. Yeah. So, just an interesting detail I picked up on.
So then he finally hits the button. Din gives him the okay to hit the button, but it doesn't work. The mons are big and they probably do hurt him, but the dragon's just it just makes him very mad. So the coolest part of the show to me is the very next scene. Cobb's like, okay, they're picking us off like womp rats. Let's get this done. And they just go get their guns.
Yeah. And it's like they were like fed up and like, okay. And I thought that action sequence when they both went up on their jetpacks, I'm like, yep, it's back. Yep. And like, you know what, it was so funny because like, again, this is what I was talking about in the beginning of the episode. It was like it went really fast and it slowed down a little, the whole thing when they were moving over and setting up the plan. And I got that episode 4 vibes a lot when they were with the village, how they had to set up that plan. They all broke it down with everybody as a team. And again, Mando was the leader. He took that leadership role here as well with the Tusken Raiders and the whatchamacallit, the villagers and stuff of Mos Pargo. They got everybody together, like, this is the plan, exactly like episode 4 in season 1. And well, it ended up being this action sequence that they wanted. They played that intense soundtrack again. I always pay attention to the soundtrack. I always pay attention to the soundtrack because, like, I Star Wars soundtrack for me is everything. Music scores are everything with John Williams, Samuel Kim. So as soon as they went up on those jetpacks, I already knew it was over with. I already knew this is where it's going to get fun.
To readdress something we just talked about, some people in the chat are saying that they believe the armor was probably dead. I didn't take it that way. I thought she just stayed back. Din defeated Moff Gideon, and that really destroyed the little remnant faction they had on there. If anything, she was just captured. I mean,
Karga and Cara Dune. So
yeah,
you never know. Maybe they just didn't include her in the trailers, but maybe he scoops her up as well. I think they gotta know at least what happened to her. She didn't have a huge role, but she had a role enough where it's good. If they brought back the caretaker, then they're gonna the armor can't be.
Yeah. So back to the music with the jetpacks going up, that I kept hitting it has 10-second rewind on Disney. I just got 10-second rewind. Dude, that's awesome. 10-second rewind.
He's not even a Mandalorian, and it looks sick.
That's what I was gonna say. We know it's not Boba Fett, but you can use your little kid brain and be like, man, that's what it would look like if that was Boba Fett. So
exactly.
So they get up there on the way they do the scenes, man, are too good, man. When they land on the side of that mountain, I was like, it was like you were right there, looking right at the crate dragon.
Literally, dude, it was awesome sequence. Obviously, they kind of couldn't complete the job. And then again, like I said, Mando takes the leadership role, launches him off his jetpack, and takes care of it. And so he's like, watch over the child.
Yeah. He's like, whoa.
Takes things into his own hands. And then
I love how he, another callback to the original trilogy, Boba Fett, or whoever's going to end up with this armor needs to fix the jetpack, because you can just smack it in the back and it just goes. Because I think that's the first thing that needs to be fixed when someone gets this armor, because he did it again, shot him off into the sky, and then he's looking the crate dragon right in the face. And then he goes and he's like, tell your people that I'm not, you're paying for that, or like that was your fault or something like that. Yeah, I don't know if I wish maybe somebody in the chat would know, but John, I don't know if he directed or anything with Guardians of the Galaxy, but that's exactly what that scene reminded me of. Right when the dragon eats Din, I was like, well, that's Drax right there. You know, Drax goes into that right at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And I was like, I wonder if that was John's idea, you know, because it would be perfect for him to tie in his whole Marvel over there too. Yeah. So we knew he wasn't dead, but still, and we know it is Star Wars. Like, come on, that would kill you. But he comes out, he uses his Boba Fett, or not a Boba Fett, what is that? The animated Boba Fett rifle is what I call it, and blew his way out of there. I thought that scene looked perfect.
The pulse rifle.
Yeah, the pulse rifle.
The pulse rifle. Yeah. You know what I thought was interesting? And it's like, I see this a lot in Star Wars, especially in The Mandalorian. You know, it's like, that's like, okay, we all obviously knew, like, once this is all happening, we're all like, okay, we obviously know he's going to succeed, because there's going to be an episode 2 and he's going to succeed. But they never let you, like, they always do keep you on your toes a little bit. You know, they never succeed right away. Right. I think that's a really strong thing. And again, I'm going to do it one last time, and you're going to be tired because I'm always going to relate it to this. Last one, I promise, for the day. In episode 12 of season 7, when Ahsoka was grabbing onto that Y-wing, you thought, okay, she's going to grab onto the Y-wing, she's going to be right in there. No, it took her like 3 times. It took her a slip. Rex had to go grab her back and forth and back and forth. And then they finally achieved it. So it keeps you on your toes. You know she's going to survive. You know Mando's going to survive and achieve it. But I love how they just keep you on your toes, not knowing how it's going to happen, not knowing when it's going to be happening, if someone's going to be lost in the process. I honestly thought I thought the child was going to save the day, just like he did in episode 2 in season 1. I thought somehow the child was going to influence this, because they kept showing his little reactions towards things, and I'm like, this isn't going to be Mando, this is going to be him.
Exactly. And then referring back to what I said too, I love how they didn't use Baby Yoda in this. This is the Mandalorian show. They're like, hey, this is your main character. He's going to get the job done. And then referring to how the hero doesn't always get it right the first time. Din got his butt kicked quite often in season 1. The Mudhorn beat him up. He lost. He tied with the fight with Cara Dune. There was another fight that he was losing pretty bad too. I can't remember which one it was. But yeah, he's not perfect in a fight, but he is good.
He almost lost that one in episode 5, the last time we saw the caretaker, remember? And he had to have his hands behind his head. That little sequence right there, he was kind of beat down. That's when he just launched the whistling birds. And then episode 8, he was down. He had blood through his helmet, all that stuff. And Ahsoka just said it. Baby Yoda saved him from the fire. That's that scene I was talking to you about when IG-11 was healing him and he was like sad. And IG-11 saw his emotions. Like, yeah, you're sad. Like, I can tell. I can sense emotions. And Baby Yoda saved the day again. So it's like you keep seeing this reoccurring thing. So it's nice to see like him get his own achievement without Baby Yoda interfering.
Yeah, and that's how that needs to be, because people don't realize that they'll pick up those hidden messages in these stories that these characters aren't perfect, and they can make mistakes. So as we all can, but you can overcome them. Then that's what makes stories the hero's journey.
Yep.
So he beats the Krayt Dragon is now beat, so he's done. Yeah, which I had. Of course, I rewatched that scene. I had to many times because that's another Couture reference. And then I didn't really. Did you play Star Wars Galaxies at all? Because I did. That was like a MMO type game that I never got into.
Right.
I don't even know if they have servers for it anymore. But somebody was saying that Krayt Dragon and a Pearl is from that game as well. Right. Of course, I take it from Couture because after you defeat the Krayt Dragon, you get a pearl that you can put in your lightsaber.
Right.
But in this one, it's like this big. So the little Tusken Raider has a pretty cool voice sound right before it picks it up, and then they're all just celebrating like they just won the Super Bowl.
That was pretty cool. And they zoom out, and then once again you see that the child's little reaction, messing around with the flesh and stuff like that. And then we could just get into the real part. It was really funny because we were watching it in the watch party, and I noticed something, and I already knew the episode was ending because they increased the frame during majority of the episode and they lowered the frame again. I'm like, this is the end of the episode. But before the episode started, I was like, you know what? This is the first Mandalorian episode that we've gotten, the first Mandalorian content we've gotten since like a year. So I know they're not gonna just like, they're gonna give us something that's gonna keep us on our toes. That's gonna be like, oh my god, I'm so excited for the next episode. This is why I've been waiting for this for a year. They're not gonna just be like, yeah, I'll wait till the next episode. No. I knew they were gonna do something. I didn't know what, but I called it from the beginning. And when the frame was zooming out, I was like, hold on, just wait.
Yep.
And we got what we got, the
big reveal. What they've been waiting on.
I know. We got Boba Fett.
Yep. So if you just still haven't watched it for some reason and you're watching us talk about this and then you hear Boba Fett, you need to do something. Go watch it. Yeah. So, and we know it's Boba Fett because what we talked about in the group chat on Discord is that you would assume any other clones at this point are going to be old men, like really old. Mm-hmm. And he's still fairly he's just Tamora Morrison, just exactly how he's aged normally. So
exactly. I didn't like none that I didn't like. They could have at least given the guy eyebrows.
So yeah,
he didn't have any eyebrows. He was all scarred up.
I cannot take claim to this one. I've seen it on Twitter. So someone said that the Sarlacc, whatever he was doing to survive in there, that's what he was doing. And then the Krayt Dragon comes in, and then the acid that the Krayt Dragon was using, that's why he doesn't have his eyebrows and the scarring. And it didn't look like it looked like one of his ears were missing. I couldn't tell. But either way, he's messed up.
And I'm trying to look for little details, yeah.
I'm thinking it's from the Krayt Dragon and not the Sarlacc. We don't know the internals of a Sarlacc. I don't know if he has room there to operate or not. But I think the Krayt Dragon really messed him up, and he escaped somehow.
Okay. So this is where the fun begins. So we look, and he's looking over the horizon, looking at Mando go on the speeder. Doesn't have a smile on his face. He's definitely like, you could just imagine. Okay, and this is what I'm saying. It's like I see it, and again, I see it like almost as a Darth Vader type of thing, right? Darth Vader, for example, when he got burned, and we see this in Rogue One, he spent every single day in his chamber, in his like whatever you want to call it, his tub, whatever, in the that little scene in Rogue One where Krennic comes up and he disrupts his peace. He's like, he has to get out, and he all he does is meditate and think, right? Probably thinks about Padme, and you see in the comics he thinks about all the things that he's done, whatever, and he lives on a fiery planet, Mustafar. I see almost like Boba in a similar way. He lives through a almost near death experience, all scarred up, just like Vader, and he lives on a sand planet, a desert planet, for the last, I don't know, Return of the Jedi to Mando, 5 years, whatever the case may be, just living on his own, like stranded. You obviously like have a really strong mentality, like, I want my revenge. I want my revenge. It's a Jedi who put me through here. I want my revenge. Yeah. So I see that kind of similar.
We have a lot to maybe delve through. We could do it now or later on another podcast, but he's not. Yeah, he just exactly what you said. He hates Jedi. Like he 100% hates Jedi. So, right before we get to that, I don't get why he wouldn't just take his armor back from Cobb. Like, I feel like that's easy pickings. Like, hey, there he is. There's my armor. I'm gonna get it back. Why make it harder than it needs to be?
You don't know if he's built for a battle.
He could.
You don't know if he's built for a battle. He could be so damaged. We didn't even see the front of his body necessarily. What if he's like the frame will only cut midway? What if he's missing legs or something we don't even know about? Like little things like that. We don't even know about that. So now it's like, what's gonna happen from here? And this is where I want to hear your opinion and like where we can like, exchange opinions here. This is like, okay, I'll just go over like my little quick view. I think that Mando's going to head right, if you don't mind getting into it right now. Like,
I got plenty.
I think that Mando's going to head right back to the Razor Crest. I think that's where it's going to cut in. And similar to how it was in in episode 5 in season 1, when the younger bounty hunter stopped him at the Razor Crest, I think it's going to be a similar thing. Boba's going to stop him. Probably the caretaker's probably going to bring in the Pidgeoids, all dramatic and stuff. Oh my God. And I think that, I don't think it's good. I don't know. I think Boba might take an aggressive approach, but if they do somehow talk and communicate, first of all, Boba isn't a Mandalorian. He's just a clone. He's just a clone that in age accelerated. He definitely has no interest in the Jedi. Because of a Jedi, he ended up where he ended up. Because of a Jedi, his father got killed. You see in the Clone Wars, even like little things in the Clone Wars, how much hate little young Boba had towards Mace and everyone. So he's gonna tell Mando about these sorcerers. He's gonna give Mando an opinion that are evil. He might even try to go after the child because he's a Force wielder like a Jedi. You don't even know any of that stuff. So it's like, I don't know, man. I really think that like Mando might start getting a really, really bad view on the Jedi. And what my concern is, and this might be so unrealistic, and maybe you don't agree, I just hope like it doesn't affect the relationship between the child and Mando. That Mando's like such in a rush to get rid of him because it's like, oh yeah, this is evil. He comes from evil.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there.
Yeah, Din's gonna be influenced by everybody, and then like you said, we think Ahsoka's gonna be in this is pretty. There's a lot of clues that there are. She's going to tug him one way. Boba Fett's going to tug him another way. The armorer's already tugging. The armorer already said, give him back. Like, well,
yeah.
She actually said that, but she didn't because she's like, you're a clan of two now. Like, so she's accepted it. So he's going to have a lot of influence, and he's going to have to pick and choose his sides. And I think in the end, he will want to be around the child. And like I said, if the child ends up saying a first word, and he's looking right at Din when he says it, there's going to be an extremely strong attachment there. And
that's going to be something where he's going to be like, yeah, I need this in my life. He's my go-to. And again, I shouldn't be doing this because again, this is just like, these are all speculation and rumors. But if Ahsoka did happen to come into place here, the way I would say she's in place is because if she had to give Din a view of the Jedi, she would not have a bad view of the Jedi. She would explain the corruptness of them. She would explain everything in a more balanced way, because we know how Ahsoka feels about the Jedi, conflicted. But again, she's the perfect idea of what a Jedi could represent. That's not that like conflicted way in the Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
And during the Clone Wars. So if Ahsoka did tie into place, I think she would clear his head a lot.
Yeah. She's going to be the voice of reason too. And then another tug that, I would still say that Sabine is allied with Ahsoka, and that's just another true Mandalorian that Din is going to have to try to listen to. Like
they're together.
He's going to be pulled so many ways. He might just say, screw all y'all. I'm taking the child and he's sticking with me, and he's going to be a little bounty hunter.
And that's exactly what we were talking about before. He's going to, that emotion, that character development. You're going to see more of an emotional side to him this season. You're going to see an emotional development. You're going to see his character really develop. You're going to see his conflict, probably even a little bit. Like I said earlier, you see his leadership, you see his aggressive side, his soft side, like in episode 8. So you're getting more and more sides to this. And this is someone without a face. We only saw his face for about 10 seconds total in the entire. We have 8 hours worth of content, 9 hours worth of content almost, and we've seen his face for 15 seconds, and this is all getting a character development with someone without a face that you're seeing. That's the great part.
I feel like when we get to the Razor Crest scenes, he'll take it off and get some more screen time, and then you're gonna get more emotion too, especially like the alone time that he has with the child, like when he's like talking to it, because he talks to the child when they're flying through hyperspace. So I imagine we'll get a pretty cool scene out of that, and then just keep growing from there.
You know how he says he doesn't take off his helmet in front of living things?
Yeah.
Can
you take it off though in front of your clan members? Is that a thing? Because Yoda or Child is a clan member.
I don't know. It's just God. This next episode can go so many ways, and there was these leaked titles a while ago, like a while back, and I guess supposedly they're fake. I don't know. Again, you got to be really careful with these rumors and stuff like that. But supposedly the next episode was called The Confrontation, and this was posted back in like April. So
did they get episode 1 right? Is it called The Marshal?
Episode 9 only said chapter 9 for me.
Oh, I got you.
But I never saw. I mean, the episode 9, it said in that list that episode 9 was titled The Search. Episode 2 was The Confrontation. I remember episode 6 was The Sorcerer. So I don't know. Yeah. Boba might try to take, like I said, that aggressive approach. He might try to go after this thing right here.
Yeah, and that's the good thing too. Even if it is called The Confrontation, it's not even really a spoiler because you could say, well, he's going to fight.
Oh yeah, no.
He could fight Ahsoka if she appears. Yeah. I think it's going to be episode 6, The Sorcerers or whatever. But man, if she could appear in the first minute of next episode, it's going to be crazy. You won't even know it when it's
if it does happen, and that we already 1 for 1. We're already 1 for 1 with Boba. So our Boba was right. I don't think we're going to get I don't at all. I don't think we're going to get Rex or any of the other clones. They're long gone by now. They're in their deathbed by now. It's like they're double. Their ages are doubling, accelerated. Yeah. But whatever happens, if like again, and I keep saying this, if we do get Ahsoka, I feel like I was kind of on the right path that we knew. I had this gut feeling that we were going to get a character. If my gut feeling serves me right, I think that whatever the case may be with Ahsoka, whatever it is, it's going to tie in then to her own series, and that's going to be the search for Ezra. That's going to be the journey with Sabine or anything like that. So,
yeah, lots to look forward to.
Again, in Star Wars, when you watch Star Wars, you're going to be disappointed more than you get what you want. So you got to always expect the worst when it comes to that.
Yeah, I mean, because there's not just me and you. There's millions of fans, and you got to try to appease them all in little ways, and they're doing that with the Knights of the Republic crowd by giving us this episode. Hopefully, they'll do that this season for fans of the Clone Wars, fans of the Rebels, and even the comic books. I personally don't read them, even though I should. I watch people animate them on YouTube, and I watch them that way. But there's a whole group of comic people out there that has knowledge and lore that I don't even know. So, and you got to help them out too, because they're like Poe had his own series. Darth Vader has his own series right now where that's another tangent, but the Emperor like crushes his mechanical limbs and he suffers, and then he has like a force vision of Padme and Obi-Wan to make him more of a tragic hero, So,
well, you even see that in the. I haven't personally played it. I'm actually working on towards doing some playing this, but Vader Immortal sees a vision of Padme in the comics. Goes by Padme's grave. And actually encounters Vader actually encounters the Handmaiden in episode 2. It was the decoy for Padme. No, episode 1, the decoy for Padme.
Yeah.
He encounters her and thinks it's Vader thinks at first that it's Padme, and he loses it. He goes crazy. So yeah.
Fun fact that Handmaiden's played by Keira Knightley. That was one of her.
Oh, really? From Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome.
That's crazy how much she blown up, and she just had like a small role.
I agree with that. Yeah. The Rise of Kylo Ren. That was a sick comic series.
And I only watched the animations, so
you have to. Those. I didn't finish the entire thing. I only own 2 of them. The rest were like sold out everywhere. And I know I could have gone in online, but like nothing feels better than having it in your hand.
Right.
But no, that was incredible. It talks about how Snoke really drove him, and not only that, but like the actual that burning of the temple. It was totally different than what they made it look like in the films. But anyways, back to Mando. Episode 2 can go so many different ways, and it's the start of it. You know what I mean? And I really hope that because you and I are just inject us with content. So if we get another episode that's 54 minutes long, God, I'm here for it, because that's
I'll never get enough. No one can ever convince me about too much content. Like in any series, any fandom, like if they're like, hey, we get 20 Star Wars movies in the next 5 years, cool, let's do it. I'm gonna watch every single one of them like 4 times in the first weekend. So let's get after it. It's not gonna. I didn't have that with Marvel when they did 21 movies. I'm not going to have it with Star Wars. There's no way. So the more content I need another 55-minute episode. So that's I think we pretty much wrapped that episode up. Anything else that needs to be addressed?
I just think that they really, 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 and that needs to be emphasized, that they really started off this season with a bang. I think I've seen this more than because the fandom of Star Wars is really split up over the past 2 years, right? So The Mandalorian is something, and season 7 was the same thing. Again, I'm going to talk about it again. Season 7, the last 4 episodes, was something that we all Star Wars fans could just come together as one and be like, oh my God, this was like something that we all love. It's all peaceful. And the same thing with Mandalorian. It brings all of us together. It brings the original trilogy fans together, the prequel trilogy fans like myself together, and even the sequel trilogy fans together are all as one. And I think it's like the Mando is like a peacemaker. So to start off this season with arguably one of the best episodes of the entire Mandalorian, it's sick. And I do want to point this out, and this is the last thing. I'm so sorry. I did want to point this out. There was a deleted scene in Clone Wars. I don't know if you know this, and it was a face-off duel between Boba and Cad Bane, and that's how Boba has the dent in his helmet. And when I think about Boba encountering Mando, if they do encounter, I keep having this picture in my mind of this Wild Wild West type of duel that Cad Bane and Boba had. And that was, again, this was never this scene from Clone Wars is a never finished scene. It was the animation is done, but they never finished it. They never rendered it specifically to release it. Like the Siege of Mandalore, that was made years ago, and they just decided to release it out. So if there was a duel, I kind of picture something like that, like a Wild Wild West type of thing, which would be awesome on Tatooine.
With the duel, though, do we do the old Stan Lee route where two So Stan Lee, when he makes a comic series and he puts, Wolverine versus Hulk, there's never a winner because you can't do a disservice to the other fan base. Is it going to be the same with this? Does the Mando would kill the Bubba in a fight if they had to pick, but do you think they would go that route, or would Bubba just get away, or maybe another draw like a Crate Dragon type thing with Cobb? You know what I mean? Can they pull off a Bubba death when they just?
How about this? How about a Mando Boba duel, right? The child kind of sees that Mando's in trouble and prevents that from happening, interferes, just like how he did in season 1.
If you give, so man, that's almost Game of Thrones level, man, because that's why you love those characters so much, because they go so radical in Game of Thrones, right? So if you have this super fan base love for the child. Everybody loves the child. So now you got to throw in, because you got to get those Twitter battles going. Like, hey, man, I love Bubba. And if the child force chokes or something, Bubba, and takes him out,
he's going to lose it.
Talk about publicity, though. The internet will blow up. We probably won't even have internet because servers would shut down. It'd be insane. We wouldn't be able to play on Twitch because we're like, man, servers are down, guys. Everybody's talking about how Baby Yoda just killed Bubba.
That's crazy. Well, like you saw that. I mean, wait, hold on for a second. Remember in was it episode 7 when Mando picked up Cara Dune and they were on the Razor Crest and they were arm wrestling and stuff like that, and Baby Yoda literally chokes her because he sees he's in trouble? I have no doubt that if Mando and Boba got into an altercation, that Baby Yoda would step in the way. And then Boba's already going to think that same exact mindset he had. Oh, yeah, the Jedi are evil. They're evil sorcerers. He's going to already automatically assume that.
Oh, for
and
sure.
That might,
nobody hurts.
Baby Yoda's going to defend Mando with his life.
Yep, exactly. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Now I'm even more excited for next week. So
I know.
Man,
Can the mod.
Oh yeah. So
let me pull that up right now. As a matter of fact, God, that looked absolutely beautiful. Hold on, still. So in Battlefront 2 on PC, there's like multiple different mods, and there's just a mod that was actually just released on Nexus Mods, released today. As a matter of fact, that they just finished. That's a Baby Yoda mod that replaces Yoda that you can play on as Battlefront 2, and CND ModWorks are the mod developers for this, and it just looks absolutely stunning. And I had to show it because this looks absolutely stunning, and that is definitely something I'll be downloading.
So he replaces Yoda?
He replaces Yoda. And I know because Battlefront 2 has a strong suit. It's definitely a theme of what we do as streamers. Yeah. So I had to just throw this in here. It just looks absolutely stunning. Really beautiful. Really beautiful.
Because I know they try to take like Rey and Ahsoka, so you'll still have the motions of Rey.
Right.
The saber with the child. Do we know?
Well, they'll just add a saber. You add a saber. You can see kind of here, like right here in this image, for example, like that's kind of like the emotes that Yoda does.
I got you.
When he does that do or do not, there is no try. So it'll be. Yeah, I just thought this was absolutely stunning, and I think with with the season 2 coming out, like little stuff like this, merchandise, things are going to try to sprout up again with like really developing the hype around this season, and I'm here for it.
Is that debuting tomorrow on your stream?
On Monday, I definitely will be. Yeah, for sure.
You're taking tomorrow off.
Yeah, it just looks absolutely stunning, though. Yeah.
I am going to stream tomorrow. I just don't have a time picked out.
Yeah.
Probably be about 2. Well, if you're going to take off, then I'll probably stream at like 2 or 2:30, and then I'll stream for a couple hours. So getting there. The descriptions are right below. His is Serpents, and then mine is Warrior Nerd, of course, and then our respective YouTubes. His is the same, and then mine is not Warrior Nerd. It's Star Wars Quick Clips. That's where you can find us on YouTube as well.
You recently just uploaded a new video today, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have one about 30 minutes after this episode. I didn't want to, so I have one. My planet theory of the ice planet in the trailer. I have that one just popped up. So make sure to check that out. And then the Couture mission along with this episode. I didn't want to put that out before this podcast. So So about 30 minutes after that, you can check it out, and that'll go into a little bit more detail.
Yeah, this season is great for Knights of the Old Republic, and it already started off like just tying in so perfectly. So perfectly.
I'm gonna try to figure out a way to keep doing like this content while we're doing. So like, I'm gonna say it on podcast, and I want a video to come right after. I'm gonna do a whole series on this because I have a grand theory of Din Djarin's journey, and I'm gonna do that on YouTube, and hopefully I'm right, because if I'm right, then I can say, because I haven't seen it out there. I don't see Star Wars Theory, Star Wars Explained, all those big time YouTubers. I don't see them talking about what I have planned. And of course, if you're on the stream, you know I've said it before, so it's not gonna be a surprise to the Revenites, but it should be a good one. I'm excited for it.
All here for it. We're all here for it.
With that, is Doob? Nope. Yeah, Doob is now done with the 24-hour stream, guys. After this, we'll just do the one shout out. The community spotlight will be for Kylo. It's his birthday. After this stream, guys, if you can just go to Kylo's stream and
I can drop that right now. As a matter of fact,
we'll post the link in the chat.
Yeah.
And other than that, man, anything else?
That's it for me.
May the force be with you.
I'm ready for episode 2.
Yeah, we are. And we'll be back next Saturday, same time.
Saturday.
May the force be with you all.
May the force be with you.